Gitika Tiwari, making quality as a way of life. I remember the year 2007. Exactly to be quoted is 8th Feb 2007. When during my campus placement and the HR round, the question asked to me was, whom do I think is responsible for quality? Back then when I was just 21, and I gave it a thought, maybe just for 4 to 5 seconds, that actually who is responsible for quality? Either it's the quality function, quality people, production who is making, the people who are delivering to the customer, or the people who are designing. Oh, then I came to a conclusion that everybody is responsible for quality. So here, I, Gitika Tiwari, today I am going to present these 7 elements which will help you in developing the quality as a way of life. We have already seen in the last video the core values which builds those culture. Now these 7 elements will further add up to this into this culture so that the quality can be made as a way of life. Before going on further, if you haven't still not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe it, and at the end of the video, please, if you like it, please like it and give your comments on it. And if you have some more doubts or queries or any expectations on the video, please put the same on it. So now I start with the 7 elements. So element number 1 is the training. Whenever the person joins the organization, the first has to be given is the induction. So induction sets the basis, the foundation of any person. Then it adds up to the further levels of training, which enhances the skill of the person, and based on the skill, the person should be deployed at the workstation. Whatever the workstation is, based on the skill it is, they should be deployed. So first element we have seen is the training. Second, if we come then the training, then what is the next thing? So it is the on-job training. So on-job training, the first thing, the first manual is the work instruction, which talks about all these aspects like setup parts, how the setup should be done, how the setup parts has to be controlled, how they have to be kept, at what place they have to be kept if required, and if it has to be kept, then it comes as a first piece part. So then it is important that if the plant is running in various shifts, if the organization is running in various shifts, then it should be the first piece and last piece. Both the parts should be kept at a location. They should be stored. Then next comes when we keep part, obviously it should be identified. So identification plays a very important role. It has to be tagged and identified enough so that anybody can understand which date part is it, what is it, the purpose of keeping it, and so on. So it is not just the first piece and the last piece, it is the rejection material, the OK material, everything has to be tagged. If it is there on the line, then it has to be tagged itself. So whether it is WIP and it is converted into the saleable part, then also it has to be tagged, whether input or the output. So when we talk about the identification, we should know that what are the OK and the reject parts. So how do we come to know about it? Is the process controls which are established in the for that particular process or machine. So process controls should be defined in the work instruction itself, so that the operator is very much aligned that what are the controls he has to follow, and make sure that the OK parts are built on that only. So once all these things are done, so if there are multiple models running on the workstation or on the line, then comes the changeover. So changeover should also be defined in an apt manner so that the operator is very well aware that what all has to be taken care of during the changeover. Next come the machine or the tooling which is used to produce the parts. So that tooling or machine has to be standardized. We need to be using the standardized tooling, whatever is mentioned in the work instruction, which tool or which machine has to be used, that itself it should be defined, it should be controlled. So it is the standard machine or tooling which has to be used on the shop floor. Then comes the measurement equipments. When we are producing anything, obviously we need to measure it. So measurement equipments again plays an important role. It has to be standardized. Standardized means that it is apt for checking, for measuring that particular parameter. So if you want to know about the details, we can discuss it later. But for as of now, it should be standardized. Then it should be controlled and it should be calibrated. So in order to, because generally the calibration is done by the third party or the some other function. So the person working on that station comes to know only when there is the calibration certificate on the measurement equipment. So every person before starting the shift or the machine has to ensure that whatever measurement equipments are in place are well calibrated. The next one is, once we are using the machine and the toolings, yes, again it comes very important thing that it should be maintained, and the preventive maintenance plan should be in place based on the experience, based on the manuals, the supplier recommendations, and the past database, whatever the breakdowns have come. Based on that, the database which has been made, it should be there in the preventive maintenance. So whether it is machine or tooling, both maintenance should take place at a right time and in a right manner, because we see that production goes on, and sometimes the maintenance is missed and said that it is just an activity, it is just a non-value added activity. No, it is a very much value added activity. Not just exactly the term value added, but then you will understand when you see this in the floor that if the machines are not properly maintained and the maintenance is not done in the right time or right manner, it really affects the production in the later stage. Now the next is the defect. So if you are producing anything, it's a manufacturing thing, yes, there will be some defects. Not at every stage, but at some stages definitely there will be. So how to address those defects is very important. See, if there is a defect and you know you need to address it immediately. So now if you know that it can be controlled if you take an action then and there, then one option is that the line should be running and you should take those actions. You should not stop the line. So the condition where you should not stop the line is that if the defect part is not getting passed from that station, maybe, or not generated at that station. So maybe it could be with some extra checks or the extra containment you can do on it for the time being till the actions are in place, or it is the temporary fix or the correction at that stage. But sometimes we see that we cannot stop the generation of the defect, or we cannot detect it. So at that time, stop the production and then correct it. That is really very, very important. And obviously, it should not stop till correction. It should go to corrective action and to preventive action. We can discuss again about this in a later videos, or if you want, you can put it in your comments. And the last one, the seventh element, is handling the abnormalities. So we have seen what are the normal things. We have already seen in the 6 elements. These are the normal things. In absence of these normal things, rest is mostly the abnormalities which we see in those regard. So the number one, it could be manpower absenteeism. Then if the required manpower is not available at the particular station, then it's the abnormality and we need to deploy some other manpower. Then next comes the breakdowns. If there is a breakdown on the machine, how it has to be handled. what has to be done. Then if the rejection is higher than the normal, whatever the normal is set up by the company or the organization, if it goes beyond that normal, then what has to be done. And the dropped parts, if the parts gets dropped, we have seen, we know that in some of the components it is seen that if the parts is dropped, we cannot be using it further. So how it has to be used, and who can really take the decision on it. Then the power failure, if there are power failures, then how it has to be done. The machine gets shut down very suddenly, then what has to be done. Then the non-calibrated measurement equipments, how it has to be done. So handling abnormalities should be what has to be done, who has to do, and then the people should know why they have to do, how they have to do, until when they have to do. So it can be the starting from the quarantine of the parts or the containment, then the correction what has to be done, and later it goes to the corrective action or preventive action based on the management decision, the management who decides the flow of the procedure, how it should go like this. So whole thing has to be set up. So this handling abnormalities is really important for any organization, because we have seen what I already mentioned in my last video, that when we visited the supplier meet at Maruti Suzuki, they also shared that it is these abnormalities which really affects the product, because in normal running condition the chances of flowing of defects to the customer is very less, but in these cases it goes high, so it has to be handled in a very proper manner. So these are the 7 elements which helps in building the values, in the organization, which in turn makes the quality as a culture, as a way of life in the organization, in any company. So this can be really applied in any automotive industry or any manufacturing industry. That's all from my side. This is Geetika Tiwari, making quality as a way of life. Please press the bell icon to get the latest updates on my channel.